Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sales Fit Studio. And this morning we are joined by Cheri Spargo, who is the CEO and owner of Brunt, Australia's oldest family jeweler. But before we get there, I'd just like to wish everybody that's enduring floods in Brisbane, and hope everyone is safe and dry. And also our hearts go out to those in the Ukraine at the moment with what's going on internationally. Let's start. Cheri, welcome to the show, and look forward to having a chat about Bell & Brunt this morning.
Absolutely. Good morning, Martin.
So Bell & Brunt, 100 years old, so multi-generational business. And the one thing I know about you is, as I understand it, you're the oldest jeweler in Australia that is still in original hands. So explain to me the journey of Bell & Brunt. Like, how did Bell & Brunt get started? And explain to me your journey over the next 100 years to where you are now.
Yeah, so it was originally started by just the Bell family, and he brought in his son and my grandfather into the business, and they really just did repairs for retail stores. So they were completely a wholesale, repairer. And my dad came into the business at about 14 years of age, was just bored from doing just the repairs, and was a very artistic person and wanted to learn how to create. So he would rush over at lunch times to a different jeweler that taught him how to create rings. And he grabbed himself a bench at home and he practiced every morning, lunch, evening, started to build the business up, sell on ring making, then wholesale. And then at some point went, you know what? I'm just going to do what we currently do really well, but let's open that to the public and sell to the public. And brought my mum on as the very first salesperson at a very young age. And they just built this incredible business by word of mouth, really. He would make just phenomenal pieces. She would wear them, go to every different nail salon and hairdressers, and really just get the word out that she became known as the Diamond Lady. And everybody went there. And now we are creating the same way that we did. We're really, really invested in the only traditional hand making techniques, none of the new kind of lesser quality tech that's come into the industry, but just staying true to what we've always done well. And we're now, creating grandchildren, their engagement rings from our original customers. So yeah, it's just beautiful.
Fascinating. So when you say that you remain loyal to the old school, your jeweling technique, so how do they differ to what's being done today? And tell us a little bit about the team that you have there at Bell & Brunt and how you go about doing this.
Yeah, so we're very lucky because we have only the cream of the crop that work with us. Basically, everything that we want to do it on a world-class level. So we have master jewelers, gemologists, qualified jewelry designers, and our whole team, no matter what role they're in, they are all just so skilled. And that is just one thing for us. Quality is really important. Our quality control processes are right up there. So we have this kind of three-pronged approach to our selling technique, so that a customer can have, the best of the best. If you want to talk to the jeweler, you can. If you want to learn more about gemstones, you can, and you can have your individual piece designed. So our purpose is honoring craftsmanship and stories of love. So a big part of what we do is our team get to know the couple, what their lifestyle is, and really work alongside of them to design a unique piece. And then it's all made by hand. So we use only the best of diamonds, all freshly forged bars of gold, and start everything from scratch. That just makes it a really durable product. That's something they'll have for a lifetime and hand down as a legacy. And we just sort of found at one stage in the whole 100-year journey, we delved into a bit of cast making, which is about 95% of what majority of jewelry is, which original rings made, a wax molds taken, and, hundreds of thousands of pieces are created from there. But we found with that it allows a lot of impurities that can happen, and things falling apart and stuff like that. And that just wasn't the field that we were. We wanted to create legacy pieces that were going to last. We didn't want to be having to
Mm.
repair them, 5 years or 10 years down the line. So quality is what we're all about.
That's wonderful, and I really love your purpose. That really resonated. So I'm curious. Like at the moment, supply chains are stretched, and prices are going up like yo-yos. So
Mm.
how is the pricing of gold and gems at the moment? Like, are they readily available? Or how are you navigating that supply issue, if there even is one?
Well, there's actually probably plenty of diamonds ready to go. The big issue with supply is more that in order to continue the rarity of them, a lot of the bigger companies, the cutting companies, will hold stock and release it as need be. But obviously, the situation with Russia at the moment, as soon as there's any kind of crisis, war especially, people start to invest really heavily in gold. So that price of gold is going to hit 2000 US, and it has just over the last 10 years skyrocketed, gold and gemstones. And I think even gold has risen 18% just in the last couple of months. So I suppose as it goes, it's a worldwide thing. Diamonds are priced on the US dollar. It doesn't matter where you're buying them in the world, they're all based on the same. But they are expecting, with everything that's happening in Russia, for there to be shortages. Certainly, COVID also, we saw that happen. And so it does increase prices. And that's why it's a good reason to invest sooner than later. And certainly, individual things like pink diamonds and everything as well. Now, that rarity of them, that, the investment only increases astronomically.
Yeah, right. Curious, and I guess that's a challenge for you as a business, because with commodities going up, you're always faced with those conversations you have to have with your customers about pricing, I assume.
Yeah, we just did that with all of the team just at the end of last week when we looked at those gold prices coming up and having to change from, if you're giving away a quote that it is now only going to be relevant for potentially a few days. And so I guess just passing on, the information that we have, and also just grabbing on. I must admit, I did call our diamond buyer to phone our suppliers and let's buy in diamonds now so that we do have them, because we didn't want to get into a situation in 6 months' time going, oh my gosh, suddenly there's less and less, the prices have increased more. So we really try to, for our customers, keep, buy at the best time, give them, the best price. And we have been buying up a lot of diamonds and gold just in this last current couple of weeks. So you've got to do what you've got to do, I guess, to try and still deliver them
Absolutely.
the best.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about sales shortly. After all, we are on a sales call, but I'm curious. The multi generational aspect of your business always intrigues me, and I know you. We've known each other for 2 or 3 years now, and so the business that started 100 years ago, you're now in charge, and you are a extremely dynamic, powerful, heart-centered woman who just, you know, loves to give of herself. And the one thing I know that you're very passionate about is culture and bringing that into your business. So, what have been the biggest challenges that you've faced? As the new face, the new generation, and the new CEO of the business. So, what challenges have you faced around, you know, culture and in around traditional family? Really catapulting the business into the 2020s.
Yeah, it's definitely been an interesting journey, one of a lot of experiences. So that's definitely, I guess, something now that I really appreciate having gone through, because I can kind of help other people because I've been through and seen so many different things. But I'm also very grateful for where we are now, because the biggest thing I love, about my job is to go and work with the team of like skilled professionals, who all love what they do and really honor what they do. So I love that. But yeah, it's been interesting because when I sort of was popped into a leadership role, the business hadn't had any management really before. It was very old school. You know, a lot of us had been just family members. And then as the team built, we'd never had things like contracts and health and safety, you know, just even the bare basics of professionalizing a business. So, no marketing or anything like that, you know. So it's been like a very long journey, I suppose, of introducing those things to the business and experiencing, you know, change resistance because of course, you know, when a business has been run a certain way for such a long time, it's really difficult to have someone, whether they're family and work there for a long time or not, come along and shake things up a lot. But for me, it had always just been I I had this vision in my head. I knew what uh, the business could be. I knew how I wanted it to be, and I also just kind of knew what was right for me. I sort of had core values that I just was, you know what, I'm just going to keep plodding on because these are the values that we really want to see. So we've definitely seen a shift in who's worked there and really defining who we are as a business, um, and who is going to work there. And that's been the biggest probably joy for me, has been being able to kind of hand select the team and then get to work with people that we're all on the same page and everybody's loving what they do. And that's been such a change that I've been so grateful for. And it's, yeah, it's awesome to go to work and get to work with them. So it's pretty awesome.
Bro, well, I know your team thinks so as well. But and it's interesting. I'll just pick up on something you said earlier about, you know, how the fact that you have multi-generational customers as
Mm.
well coming back to you, and I guess that would be a source of enormous pride as the CEO of Bell and Brunt, to know that, you know, you might have sold something to a grandmother who's then their child and now a granddaughter, and I imagine that's something that's relatively common, is it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Like, marketing for us has only been something that's come in literally the last few years, um, because it was something we wanted to kind of keep stretching our legs in. But that word of mouth has just been, and referrals for us has just been massive because so many people will bring their brother, their sister, their daughter, and so many people arrive at our doorstep and say, "Oh, you know, mum sent me. I had to come in," you know, or it'll be just meeting someone at a dinner party and saying, "Oh, you know, what do you do?" I'm with Bell and Brunt, and "Oh, yeah, 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 my cousin and my sister and my best friend," and you know, it's such a beautiful opportunity to that you are part of their family, like their whole family really bond, you know, and work with us. And that ended up coming into our mission actually in the end, was that we wanted to kind of um, create this kind of worldwide Bell and Brunt family who do actually cherish the connections that they have, you know, with their jewelry, but also with us. So yeah, I think especially because I still work with my mum as well. For us, it's such a privilege, and we really make those people feel special as well because it's like, "Oh, fantastic," you know, and their mum will bring them in sometimes and say, "Oh, you know, your dad made my piece or my brother might have made it," and yeah, it's, something that we are very proud of.
Awesome. And you've done a great job. So I want to drill into some sales. You know, I mentioned earlier you were a customer of mine 001. So you and you and your team at Bell and Brunt were the very first business that I facilitated with when I started the sales strategist. So thank you for your support. Um, and it's been wonderful watching the next 2.5, 3 years, or however long it's been, because you and people that don't know you don't know, but you implement like a mofo. I mean, you take your learnings and you really drill down on it, which is fantastic. Um, and after our original facilitation, um, you decided straight away, and this was right at the start of COVID. So COVID had just started biting. You weren't sure where it was going to run, but you took the whole pricing and frame control it into the vernacular, and you took a couple of actions. So what actions did you take straight away, Cheri?
Well, and the first thing that we did was that we increased our prices, and we were able to do that purely because of the teachings that we had from Martin. We all, like, clearly I've talked about how passionate we all are, and we love the product, we love what we do. But from that coaching, we really realized that we weren't really prizing ourselves enough, and maybe giving ourselves enough credit, even though we knew we were producing a world-class product. So we had to look at it and went, okay, we've really got to live and breathe this pricing mentality. And what we want to do when I say we increase the pricing, it was for a multitude of levels. And part of that was that we just valued the team so much. We wanted to really value the skill that our jewelers bring and the designers bring and the gemologists bring. And we really felt that the price needed to reflect where their world-class level is at. So, I think it was just the biggest takeaway from the work that we did was the pricing, and just living and breathing that mindset. And it also helped the team as well, because it made them realize how much we completely valued them as well. And we also opened Zoom consultations online, which we hadn't ever offered before. And we went, well, you know what? We're in this new world. There's no reason that we can't. And so we flipped to that as well. So that was pretty awesome.
So and you did a great job. So you just drew back. So after the facilitation, so you put prices up and you stopped discounting at the same time. Now, most people wouldn't have the courage to do that, because I face this a lot. So you put prices up, you eliminated discounting. What happened to conversion rates and sales and revenue coming in?
Yeah, so conversion rates increased to go and match with it. Like, it was something that everyone was a little bit nervous to do, increase pricing. Certainly stopping discounts was many conversations I had with my mum about it, but eventually we pulled her over the line. And so we were able to then close in studio at least 75%, and online, which we'd never even done before, but we went into it with this confidence and 95% closure rate. And we're still on it, and it's a couple years past, so we're just loving it.
That's a 95% close rate virtually and a 75% conversion rate in person. So those are phenomenally high conversion rates. So, kudos to you and the team for implementing and doing what you're doing. So I'm curious as to what were the big things that, okay, it's easy to say that, hey, look, we increased prices, we reduced discounting, we got these great conversions, but what actually made the difference, do you feel?
I think, it comes down to the mentality. And if you are thinking, and I guess it was just the whole coaching process, understanding, where you are in a sales process, and, creating that frame control as well as the pricing, and nailing it into like a next step process. Because I think before, people start to worry if they're on a phone. You're not supposed to be selling when you're on a phone. If you're right at the start, you're not supposed to be talking about price and everything like that. So I think what really resonated with the whole team, but even on from that, we've continued doing sales. I do the sales coaching once a week, and then building into that everybody is kind of contributing their part to the sales coaching. So it's not something that you could probably deliver once and it's just done. We wanted to have like this living, breathing sales, process document, but no one would have believed in it if we didn't actually think it was the best thing for the customer. So, like, a lot of it, although yes, there's frame control, next step, pricing, storytelling, it was all things that we were already probably doing to a degree, but it was just putting them into a bit of a right order and making the customer feel comfortable, and making the salespeople also just feel comfortable that, they can sell what they already believe in so well. So yeah, I think those were the biggest takeaways.
Great. And I'd just like everybody to know that at about the 18-minute mark, Cheri dropped an absolute gold nugget that I believe every business owner needs to take care of. When Cheri said that on a weekly basis, Cheri has sales coaching with her own team every week. And as a business owner, as a business, the one part of the business that a lot of often gets neglected is sales. And I love that you do that every week, Cheri, because I'm sure you would notice that if you're doing it every week, you're raising everybody's skill level every single week. You're finding out the little nuances, the small stuff that's going wrong. So I'm not surprised, knowing that, why your conversions are so high.
Mm.
You know, and so congratulations on that. And everybody out there who runs a business, coach your bloody team, get them to sell, make it so that it's something that they do as natural, because it can happen. I'm sure you noticed the change in your team pretty quickly. I know I did when we first started facilitating with them.
Mm. I think, yeah, it's just if you're doing it every week, there's constantly that awareness on it. And you want them, like, although it's great, and I really nutted into, okay, this is going to be the step process and this is what it's going to look like, kind of thing. And let me explain, like, it's not rigid, like, we don't have a sales script or anything like that. But I just wanted people to really delve into it, feel really comfortable, know it like they would anything else. If a jeweler can sit there and go, oh, it's a single stone ring, cool, I know exactly how to make this. I'm confident in this. I just wanted the team to feel the same way and know it back to front, and so that they can feel comfortable, customers feel more comfortable, because as we know, it's no one wants to be sold to, and it's not really selling, it's educating, it's guiding, it's working with the customer, and it's getting them the best solution as well as us.
Yeah, and I think when I first facilitated with your team, I'm a guy. I didn't realize that making jewelry is so difficult as it actually is. But because your team is so skilled, they find the difficult easy, and they think, dealing with freshly forged bars of gold and selecting the right gemstone and making it the right thickness and all doing it by hand, they find that easy, right? Whereas even most jewelers these days, I'm sure, would find that would be extremely difficult. But it's just about explaining to the customer, hey, look, this is how I would do it. This is really, for us, it's no big deal. We've been doing it for 100 years. You remember the stagecoaches back in the 20s? Yeah, we've been along around that long. It gives them that certainty that they're in the right place, right?
Mm. Yeah, that's sad.
And so it's absolutely wonderful that you're doing that, and you're coaching your team on a regular basis. So Bell and Brunt, people think rings, people think engagement rings and all types of jewelry, but you guys deal in the big end of town as well. I remember you telling me just before Christmas that you just closed a deal which was the size of the deal blew my mind. So are you prepared to share what that was?
Yes, sure. So we did close a $300,000 sale, which we were pretty celebratory on, and it was such a massive win for our design consultant to do that. And the customer was thrilled. We were so excited to make it, and that's just it. I think sometimes going into a sale that big, right, you could feel quite nervous, going, "Oh, geez, it's quite a lot." But it wasn't that. It was just still the same process, creating that certainty for the customer within yourself, and you know, going through with it. But that was a tremendous surprise and
And so
win.
was that a single piece or was that multiple pieces?
So it was one piece, and then plus we on sold an extra full set band as well to match with it. But it just looked incredible, and
I
yeah, it
bet it
was
did.
it was so nice. Everyone was so excited watching, seeing the diamond, watching it made, and seeing the joy with the customer was phenomenal.
But that's another great learning experience for everybody listening there, Cheri. When you said that it was the same process, just because it was a $300,000 deal, you didn't vary your process than if it was a single high value, high class ring that might be $5,000. So it was exactly the same process. And I presume that you went in with the same mindset that, hey, look, we're the prize and all of
Absolutely.
that entails. So when you do go in with that we're the prize mindset, what does that mean to you?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, the prize. Well, I guess I suppose it's confidence. It definitely gives you a level of confidence that you know everything that's around, right? Okay, so like when we look at all the things that we bring and we're doing, like we call ourselves Australia's premium custom jeweler because we truly believe that we are. Our team um, are world class. They are creating incredible pieces, and um, they've got, we've got the qualified master jewelers, and so even in the sales role, you've got a master jeweler right there behind you making that ring. We know we've helped 500,000 people so far already create and care for their pieces. So, we've had 102 years of refining exactly what we are, what we do best. We do custom made easy, so everything's easy. We know we're delivering like an individual design and diamond selection service, education, and then same thing, diamonds, even something that the customers don't even necessarily know is that like our rejection process. Like we only select maybe 5% of the diamonds that we actually view. And freshly forged bars of gold, I know we talked about it, but even handmade jewelers like will perhaps melt down the gold that they have and form it back into a bar and create a new piece. Not for us. So we send everything away to be refined. The gold comes in from Germany and it's the cream of the crop so that it's the best it can be. And obviously, with that family business, we've even got, if you're not 100% happy with it, we'll remake it because we're that confident that we know what we're doing. Um, and I suppose in the pricing, the big part of that is knowing, okay, we've got all of these things, and all we really want to do is help customers make the best decision. And so we do feel like, okay, if we've just let someone go and they're going to go and buy something that we know is potentially going to fall apart on them in a few years or whatever, we've not done them any favors. We've not helped them in the way that we could have. And so I think again, it's that pricing mentality that although we are the best, we're still also helping because we also want to deliver the best. So yeah, I think it's coming at it and learning that heart-centered way of not just being, oh, we're great at sales. It's not necessarily about that. It's about wanting to be the best in order to make sure that customers get the best, which is what we well and truly believe is us. So
I
yeah.
think you encapsulated that well, and I would paraphrase that it's confidence. You've got confidence in your heritage, confidence in your team, confidence in your product, confidence in your processes, and confidence that you can provide that premium piece of quality jewelry. And if someone's not in the market for that, then hey, look, that's fine. We're not the jeweler for you. You can
Mm.
go and play in the shallow end of the pool if you want to, but and you're completely comfortable and okay with that.
We are now. Don't get me wrong, like, and that's just it. When we looked at not discounting, when we looked at uh, a starting price level and where that would be with the current prices, we were like, oh my gosh, we're not going to get everyone. When my parents open to the public and you're building a business and you've spent years and years and years creating this incredible, plethora of people and family of customers, and they got by delivering the best price because we're in a location where we don't necessarily have a lot of rent or whatever, so we would undercut everyone to get a sale because
Mm.
that was really important. But now that we're not in that place and we are all about employing the cream of the crop and everything as well, um just recognizing, I suppose, that value that all of the team do bring, and its worth.
Well, it comes at a cost. Awesome, Cheri. Well, our time's nearly up, but I'm interested. So, you are Bell and Brunt. You're based in Adelaide, but you do sell, as you said, virtually 95%. So, what Cheri's saying is, don't jump on a call unless you're ready to buy, because she's going to get you there anyway at 95% conversion rate. But anyone that's looking or curious about contacting Bell and Brunt and maybe wanting to start down that premium jewelry angle, how do they contact you and the team, Cheri?
So the best way would be our website, which is Bell and Brunt, BELLANDBRUNT.com.au. And there's a contact page in there. You can book a consultation in studio or online, or you can just call us on 088231 999 to have a chat.
Brilliant. Hey, Cheri, it's been great to catch up this morning. I'm sure our audience has got a lot from that. And to everybody out there, stay safe, stay dry, and keep selling whatever you do. From my sales heart to yours, remember, a sales fit business is a healthy business, and we'll see you all next week. Ciao for now.